Alright, so let's get into my review for Man of Steel. Throughout the whole week, I've been watching every single Superman movie from 1 to Superman Returns, and now it's time for the newest rebooted film, Man of Steel. What did I think about it? My initial thoughts, I thought it was great. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about this movie, but I thought it was great. I thought they did a great job. And some of the concerns that other critics have, I'm gonna give my thoughts on their critiques and whether or not I agree with them and my own opinions. So the movie starts out on Krypton. We see Jor-El basically doing his thing in the other movies, warning the council that the core is unstable and it's gonna explode and all that stuff that we saw from the first movie from Richard Donner. And basically, the council's like, "You're, what are you even talking about?" But during that council meeting, that's when General Zod stages his coup, and basically everything's downhill from there. Uh, Jor-El, needs to get his son in the ship as he usually does in the other films, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens on Krypton. We spend, I think maybe we're on Krypton for at least 15 to 20 minutes of the film, and I actually really enjoyed it. And the way they portray Krypton in the other films is like this cold ice planet. It almost looks like Hoth from the Star Wars films. But no, in this one it's very vibrant. It seems like it's like mountains, and there's like these weird firefly dragons that Jor-El rides, and it's pretty cool. So after Kal-El gets put into the ship and gets sent to Earth, it basically just smash cuts to Clark being an adult, and we see him doing these odd jobs, and Clark just kind of going around, and we see flashbacks throughout the film of his childhood and all the stuff he had to go through with his powers, and just how he was treated as a kid or as an adult, or we get like Uncle Ben ish lines from Kevin Costner's Jonathan Kent about "you were sent here for a reason," and those are some great scenes. And then that's when Zod and his crew breaks out of the Phantom Zone, and then Clark has to make a decision, and he basically decides to be Superman, and that's the main gist of the film. So let's talk about the main cast. We have Henry Cavill as Superman, Man of Steel himself. We have Amy Adams, Lois Lane. Uh, General Zod is played by Michael Shannon, and we also have some other important side characters such as Diana Lane, who plays Martha Kent. We have Russell Crowe, who plays Jor-El. And we also have Kevin Costner, who plays Jonathan Kent. And we have really good performances by Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner as the father figures in this film, and they do a great job. I loved I really liked every scene that they were in, and they did a really good job. And also another big shout out is to Henry Cavill for doing a really good Superman, and a pretty good, like, his Clark Kent is very human. This is the most human that Clark Kent has ever felt in any of the movies. I felt like in the first two films, yeah, we saw that he had human emotions such as love, and he was very conflicted because he has to be Superman. But in this, we feel like he's just a regular guy. Like, he has all these jobs that like an everyman would do, and we see that he has to go through so much adversity on the human side. Like, one scene in particular, he's a waiter, and some asshole is trying to grab his girlfriend's ass, and he just says in the politest way, like, just back off, man, just back off. And then the guy just pours the beer over his face, throws a beer can at the backside of his head, and he's just like, "I'm done." He just takes that shit off. And I think if you're a waiter, you could probably relate to that. If you're a human being, yeah, you could definitely relate to that. So I thought the performances in this movie was great. So let's talk about the visual effects, because it is 2013. We have advanced our technologies far beyond the visual effects in 1978 from the first film, especially from 2006 Superman Returns. And I feel like the visual effects that they applied into this really shows they can really apply into the action scenes and everything else is when you have this technology, you can show Superman his speed and velocity and what a Kryptonian can actually do. And the action scenes, in turn, are just some of the best I've ever seen. I mean, the speed, everything's fast paced. You're just in awe when he flies. Some of the best visual effects I've seen this year, and probably in any movie I've ever seen, probably. Some of the best fight scenes come from one of Zod's henchmen, or should I say a henchwoman. Her name is Fiora, and she was just taking people out. I mean, I know she's the villain, but I mean, she got down to fucking business. I mean, she was taking people out, especially the scenes in Kansas. I mean, she's just speeding to one guy and just boom, 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 done. I mean, some of the action scenes are just phenomenal, especially between General Zod and Superman versus the Henchmen are just amazing and so entertaining. The special effects range from huge cinematic cut pieces, such as the giant, almost like a terraforming machine that just basically creates a circle of gravity throughout Metropolis and just picks up things, crushes them, and just slams them down. You can see just the visual effects are amazing there. To the smallest visual effects, as when Superman is using his heat vision, you see there's like these veins around his eyes, and there's kind of like a light bulb in the back of his brain, and it kind of just comes out, and it's not even just this little stream. It's like this, almost like burst, just burst of just energy coming out of him, and also some of these other smaller effects like the X-ray vision, just really make this film polished and really great. Some of the visual effects are incredible. What really drives the action scenes in this film is the score. Hans Zimmer proves that he can make amazing music, and he's such a great composer. And when the action starts coming up and everything's ready to go, just his soundtrack comes in, and it's just amazing. It's so good. It really pushes the action scenes even further. And just a quick note, I hear critics saying that this is a joyless film. This is not a joyless film. There are comedic relief scenes throughout the entire film. I don't know. I really don't understand what the problem is. And I really think what makes this film work as an origin story is how they tell the story. It all comes down to storytelling and execution. In the first film, the first Superman film, there was always this gap where from him being a baby to him being like a teenager. And really, we get the teenager and the man side of Clark Kent. And I think that's even better. This film actually reminded me of a comic book, Superman Earth 1. There's a lot of interesting, it's kind of the same way as when it comes down to storytelling and showing the kind of different storytelling methods that they do. Like before something would happen, there'd be kind of flashbacks in between, sprinkled out throughout the comic. And this is kind of the same for the movie. There's flashbacks. See, they give you keynotes throughout the entire film whenever it's actually necessary. See, in the first films, they would just give you all of the backstory all at once, and then they would just leave the rest of the film for just Clark Kent Superman action. But this, we get it paced throughout the entire film, which I find very good. A lot of people had issues with the pacing. I found it to be okay. Like, I wasn't, even when the quote-unquote boring parts, or the slow parts happened, I didn't really feel like they were the slow parts. But then again, that's my opinion. So I kind of want to end this section of my review as the spoiler-free part. Right now, if you've already seen the film, go ahead and keep on watching this video. And if you want, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an annotation on the screen and even a time lapse. So say if you haven't seen the film yet, but you want to see my score, and you don't want to kind of scroll through the video to get through the dangerous spoiler fill to get to my score, I'll leave an annotation and a time lapse to see where my score is, so you don't get any of the spoilers that I'm about to do. But right now, we're going to do spoilers, and let's get to it. Alright, so let's get down to probably one of the biggest moments of this film, which was the ending, the last battle between Superman and Zod. And I know there's been a lot of concerns about the ending of this film. The what I'm exactly talking about is the part where they're in the, I think it's like a train station almost. It's that place in New York, but it escapes me right now. But at some point in the film, Superman and General Zod are having their fight, and then they land in this area, and Zod is just about to kill this family, like this innocent family in the corner with like his heat vision, and Superman has him in the head hold, and he's pleading with him not to kill the family, but Zod, of course, is like, never, I'm going to kill this family. Every life I take, I do for the good of my people. That kind of mentality. And Superman is just pleading with him. He's like, no, don't stop doing this. And then he has to snap his neck. He has to kill Zod. And the reason why this actual scene itself was so, like, emotionally impactful is that it's not that Superman, when he snaps his neck, he's like, yeah, good, America. Like, I did what I had to do. He just so emotionally just enraged that he doesn't, like, gloat like, oh, I've defeated Zod, haha. No, he fucking breaks down. Like, he just yells, like, ah. And then Lois Lane comes in, and he's just crying. He's just like, oh my, why did he have to do that? But if he didn't do that, I'd be like, he lacks the conviction to do what's necessary. So I think the way that scene was executed was very, very well executed, and I thought it was a risk. I knew when they were writing that, like when David S. Goyer was writing the script, he's like, I think some people are gonna be pissed off, but I think in the end, in my opinion, that needed to happen, and that was a very interesting scene. It was well executed, and good on them. And another big issue I think people have with this film, or not even a big issue, just a slight change, is that the way Jonathan Kent dies in this film, he doesn't get killed by a heart attack or anything, simple like that. He gets basically he's in the scene in the movie, he gets killed by a tornado. But seeing the thing that is heartbreaking about that scene is that Clark can help him. He can definitely save Jonathan Kent from the tornado, but we see Kevin Costner. He's like, no, I don't want you. The world isn't ready to see what you can do yet, and it's just so heartbreaking to see what happened. And I think some people maybe like the first way he died in the first film, just by the heart attack, because when you think about it, it's just the one thing that Superman can't save someone from, is something as simple as a heart attack. Something as simple as a heart attack being, for Superman, that's simple. And but in my opinion, I thought that him being killed by the tornado, it's just the context of him being killed by the tornado is that he doesn't want the world to see Clark's superpowers and what he can do. So it's kind of just like heartbreaking to see him, like, especially when Kevin Costner just looking at him, he's like, just no, I don't do it. It was just heartbreaking. I think maybe some of the some of the people I was with in the theater, the people that I went to see this movie with, I think some of them they were getting a little bit teared up. That scene was pretty rough for me. I mean, that's, what a way to go, especially in the context of what Clark can do. And it was a pretty rough scene, but do you like the him being killed by a tornado or the simple heart attack? Let me know in the comments. That'd be interesting to hear about it, which one you prefer or which one you don't prefer. Alright, so now the rest of this is my final thoughts, and they are spoiler free. So my final thoughts on this film is, I thought it was great. I'm really interested to know what they're going to do with the second film. I really want to see a Justice League film. Oh my god. Please get on that, Warner Brothers. Just please make a Justice League film. Do it. Do it any other film. If you want, go ahead and reboot Green Lantern. I don't even care. Make whatever movies you want. I know there's like a Wonder Woman TV show. Do that. Do what you need to do to get a Justice League film. And people will just throw money at your faces. Like legitimate, like just go up to your face and just start throwing money at it. So I definitely want to see another Man of Steel movie. I think since we have all this new technology, it's going to be really interesting. We could bring in Brainiac, Doomsday, maybe even the third movie, like Doomsday comes, and it's like really dramatic because it's like Superman's probably going to die in this film. But, the technology we have, it's going to be really great, so we can bring in some new villains. I'd like to see Metallo. I've been always telling my friends, basically, hey, if you want to do Metallo, just get the Terminator robot and like do like a half human, like Arnold Schwarzenegger with the half skin face right there, and then boom, Metallo. So I'm really excited for the next film and Justice League film if they do that. And I thought this movie was great, and there's nothing really in particularly bad that I thought this film was like there's no overwhelming like parts of this film where I was like, oh man, why would they do that? I have no like strong gripes with this film. So that's why I'm giving Man of Steel a 9 out of 10. That's right. Alright, so click any of the posters here to see any of the previous Superman movies that I reviewed. And make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And check out my Comic Book Time podcast where I check out weekly comic books and I review them. And it's all fun and great. And as always, thank you for watching.